having you here means a great deal to allow us to reflect on the many chapters of Mom's life. Her church family is here. Her beloved nephew Bruce came from Savannah, which means so much. Some of Mom's former third grade students are here. For our friends from Rochester, New York, and some wonderful surprises of special friends and colleagues who came in and just immediately made Ray and me cry just seeing your faces. So thank you all so much. You're all dearly important to us, and I know many of you have loved Mom for years and years. So thank you for being with us to remember and reflect upon and honor her life. The passing of your mother alters your life forever, and I know that many of you in this room already know that. You've been where Ray and I are today. You know that there's only one day in your life when you lay your mother to rest, but that all the days that follow have a newly defined emptiness. So for those of you who have been through this loss, please embrace us with your love and wisdom and tell us how to stay strong in the days ahead. And for those of you who still have your mom with you on this earth, please give her extra hugs and words of appreciation, because that can never be done enough. Our mom lived on this earth for 90 years, and we celebrated the length of her life many times and in many ways. When she turned 75, we had a birthday card shower for her, and we put an ad in the paper, and lots of former students and people who knew her throughout many years sent cards in, and we just presented her with one box, and it was just a wonderful day. And there were articles in the paper about her accomplishments during later milestones, and of course we had fun-loving celebrations to honor her birthdays at other times as a family, including her 90th birthday just this past April when we celebrated in State College. Yet it's not the length of her life that we celebrate today, but it's the width of it and the depth. Her heart was forever wide open. Her love stretched out so far. Her actions touched so many. And in all of her actions, in all of her thoughts, she carried a remarkable and unique optimism and positive outlook that defined who she was and impacted all of us around her. I also believe it added years to her life. She lived a purposeful life and made the most of every day long before popular psychology identified that doing so was important to mental and physical well-being. It was just in her DNA. For the last several years, when I couldn't be with her every day, I called her almost every night at 9 o'clock. She would always start the call by telling me that she'd had a good day, and then she would tell me what she did. Some days, her schedule would be filled with special visits or calls from friends or her beloved sister Carolyn or her brother Leonard. But on other days, when she was suffering from pain, or even a few years ago when she was undergoing a grueling chemo treatment, she would still begin the call with, "I had a good day." Her glass was always full. It wasn't half full, but full, as was her heart and as was her life. And she was always working on the next book, always finding ways to be productive, even when her body failed her many times. Thanks to the many books she wrote, our family history is well documented. She would always say, if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. And she made sure that the lives of the people who came before us were not only recorded, but personalized and celebrated. She also made sure that the extended family that is alive today all over the country was introduced and made aware of their cousins and aunts and uncles, and she made everyone believe that their personal story was truly worth sharing with others. She was a journalist by profession, but that only explains part of the story. Yes, she was inquisitive and attuned to the details, but it was her heart that turned the conversation from an interview to a belief that your personal history mattered to her and to future generations. As some of you know, she had very modest roots. She was the daughter of a Baptist minister and a devoted mother who lived deep in South Georgia during the Depression. She was the fifth of 6 children, born to Carolyn Ray and Leonard Rouse. Her father died when she was 12, sending the family into real poverty, although they didn't know it. They didn't have a refrigerator and would literally walk to the store to purchase a block of ice that would immediately begin to melt on the way home. Her mother took in laundry and sewing to help provide for the children. So it really is beyond remarkable that our mom in that day and age, in that environment, saw the value of education and worked 2 jobs to put herself through the University of Georgia to earn a degree in journalism. She was always driven to make a difference in the world, and somehow she figured out how to get a degree, despite the lack of financial means and societal support. And of course, later she went back to school and got her master's degree. So referring to her as a pioneer, a positive role model, and an inspiration are all very appropriate terms. She was all of that and more. She waited for the love of her life and married him when she was 26 years old. All of you know the love and commitment she put into her marriage during sickness and in health, in good times and in bad, until death do them part. After our dad's passing in 2005, which was after 55 years of marriage, there wasn't a day that went by when she didn't feel his absence, and she was indeed looking forward to a heavenly reunion. I think you know she was proud of her family, and I thank you for all the love and kindness you showed as she shared stories about us. And even though we aren't close to being perfect, the story in her heart and the story she wrote, she shared only the good. And I guess that's okay, because it really was how she saw the world. She was being genuine as she shared only happy stories. That's what her mind, her heart, and her spirit retained, and that's what the world looked like to her. We're grateful for that outlook, even if Ray wasn't really perfect all the time. So, she celebrated her grandchildren and her sons in love with great zest. Her only grandson, Bradley, has many traits of my dad. Being the first grandchild, being so handsome and reminding us of Joe would have been too hard for any boy to follow, so Ray and I only had girls after Bradley was born. Rachel was a glorious gift after years of prayer, and was the grandchild who gave Mom the beautiful title of great-grandmother when Lily and Callie were born this summer. Marie, a family namesake, filled Mom's heart with joy and pride, just as she fills the room with happiness. Sarah, the youngest grandchild, was in the local newspaper the most often, giving Mom lots of reasons to make copies and send them to those who would like to know more about Sarah's many accomplishments. Both Marie and Sarah got involved in journalism, which was a real source of happiness for Mom for obvious reasons. Mom will be remembered for so many things, but her loving, positive spirit is the legacy that was profoundly evident in every interaction of every day. And aren't we all so lucky that her spirit is what lives on? We don't have to face any day without her spirit watching over us, celebrating our lives, asking us if we wrote it down, or reminding us through her lasting example to see the world through a lens of gratitude. You are here today because she touched your life in a positive and most likely a profound way. We are grateful to everyone here who embraced our mother and shared her life. She would love that some of her former students came here today. Teaching was a great joy to her, and she loved her third graders forever. Her church family was especially important to her, and we are deeply grateful to Pastor Christine for her genuine and steadfast ministry support and personal expressions of love that she has showed Mom. Pastor Christine gave some of the most meaningful prayers I've ever heard at my mom's bedside. I also want to thank Deloise Watkins for her loyal commitment to Mom through many decades, and most recently in the past few years for picking Mom up for church whenever Mom was feeling up to going. That made Mom very happy in this last chapter of her life. And Sarah Zimmerman, all we can say is thank you. You and Deloise played music at Fred and my wedding 31 years ago, and you have filled Mom's life with music and love for decades. And speaking of music, we are doubly blessed today. My very special friend from childhood, Susie Weatherall, was singing two of Mom's favorite hymns. I've always said that Susie has the voice of an angel, and it's particularly special and meaningful to hear her sing today. And the great-grandson of Mom's dear friend, Sarah Watts, will close out the service with a rendition of the Lord's Prayer. I'm certain their voices will be heard in heaven today. So many of you here have known and loved my mom for as long as you can remember. Thank you for the joy you gave her. And as you are able today, please seek out her grandchildren and tell them how you knew her and what stories you recall. That will mean a lot to all of us. Obviously, living to be 90, Mom went to lots of funerals herself. And after attending a funeral, she used to say that she wanted to honor her friend or relative who had passed by taking on a trait they carried and keeping it alive in the world. We ask that to honor her, please carry her legacy of faithfulness and gratitude with you, and let her light continue to shine through all of us. Stay as focused on the positive aspects of life as you possibly can. Stay in touch with your relatives. Make memories while you can. Write your thank you notes, and listen carefully to other people's stories. Those are the Greta traits that will make this world better when they are multiplied among many of us now and in the future. So thank you again for loving our mom and for being here to honor her today.
My mom has an incredible way with words, and you just always seem to know the right thing to say. And I think, if Grandmama were here, she would be smiling and so happy at what you're able to share. Just means a lot. So thank you again, Mom. I think the thing that really sticks out to me about Grandmama in her life was that she was a woman who knew what her purpose was and lived it every single day. That's something I've only really recently started to think about. And I don't know how to do that yet, but somehow, whenever she and I talked, she would always make me feel that I was living my purpose. Everything that I would tell her about that was going on in my life took on a heightened importance. And I think that many people here today would come to the same conclusion regarding their conversations with Grandmother Greta. She had a great way of making you feel like you were the most important person in the room when you would talk with her. She was hands down the best listener I've ever known. And as I've grown older, it's been very special to see how those conversations have matured. From which Ninja Turtle she would be in my clan of ninjas, to improving my writing, and lately, on my career and even love. She had an answer for everything, and it's through our conversations that she's given me the strength, confidence, and love to stand up here today for our family. Pretty much everyone I know who has met my grandmother has been able to tell me quickly that she's a remarkable woman. She was remarkable, and because of that, there are very few moments on record where she was ever upset or was displeased with anything. In fact, I only have one solitary memory of her ever being upset, and it cracks me up every time I think about it. The year was 1993. I was 3 years old, and Grandmama was taking me toy shopping. And in my defense, this was a mistake on her part. You only took me to do that if you were already willing to lose your sanity. So after 80 minutes of patrolling the halls of Kmart, we left, and I rolled into the front seat of her Cadillac. At this age, my legs were a perfect length for my sneakers to reach out and push against the wood grain dash. Despite how comfortable this was for me, Grandmama didn't like it at all. I got 2 warnings, which both went unheeded, and And then I was told that my mother would hear about this, and I never did it again. So that's it, the only evidence that I have of her actually ever getting upset. Another funny story that I think really highlights her wonderful personality and the positivity that she brings to any situation comes from the time that she visited me and my family during my fraternity family weekend. Sadly, there's only so much you can do to make those houses smell less like stale beer and to take the stickiness out of the floors. Yet the only thing that Grandmama brought up was how much she liked the place, how nice the gentlemen were, and how comfortable the couches were. She truly could only see the good in things. We all dearly and deeply miss our symbol of perseverance, positivity, and inspiration. But she left an incredible legacy that includes 2 amazing daughters who have been with her through it all. They carry their parents' spirit with them each day and will continue to make them proud. Grandmama, you helped us understand what it means to have a strong foundation within a family, and we'd be forever reminded of that. So now I will read some reflections from the rest of the grandchildren. This one comes from my cousin Sarah. She was always on my mind. My Granny was the reason I am the woman I am today, and it's as simple as that. She shone her light on my life and everyone she encountered. I guess it was her southern upbringing, but she could not be in a bad mood if she tried. Grammy was always young at heart and mind, and it crushed me to see her body unable to keep up with her loving, gentle, and joyful spirit. She was the sweetest Georgia peach that has ever graced the earth, and I will forever miss her. Just like the song, Georgia on My Mind says, other arms reach out to me, other eyes smile tenderly. Still in peaceful dreams I see, the road leads back to you. I love you with all my heart, Grammy, and I'll do my best to make you proud. And from my sister Marie, her smile, her strength, her courage were the attributes I saw and felt each time she entered the room. To her, it wasn't about what could be better in life. It was how she could make others' lives better. Rita Rouse Klingon showed us all, it's not about what you do or say, it's how you make people feel. Rita, my dearest grandmother, without fail, would tell me how blessed she was, even if things didn't go her way. She never made it known, and with that, she made us believe that it is all about perception and optimism. I would hope that everyone here had the opportunity to understand what I'm talking about, because to me, that's the greatest lesson any one person can teach. Today marks the day we go forth in celebrating her life, for I know that's what she would want. I love my grandmother and will miss her warm arms wrapped around me as we would say hello. I will miss many things about her that would give me a reality check that I'm just as blessed and thankful for my life. I had 20 amazing years with her by my side, and I'm so sad to say goodbye, but as we see her for the last time here on earth, we must remember her love will remain with us forever. And we can't forget to be positive and count our blessings, because I know that's what she would want. For now, it's our turn to shed the light on others as she did for us. And lastly, from my cousin Rachel. Heaven gained another amazing angel. I've imagined this day before, but never thought that it would actually happen. Looking back over the years, I remember all of the amazing times we had together. I remember when I was little, and Grammy would take my cousin Marie and I to McDonald's so she could get a cup of coffee. Not kidding, she gave us coffee. Or being at her house and seeing how many rolls of Mentos or juicy fruit gum we could get into our mouths at one time. And when I lived with you before I moved to North Carolina, and you took care of me more than I took care of you. I've learned so much from you over the years. You were such a caring woman. No matter what the situation, you would always make sure that everyone was taken care of and had what they needed. You have been such an inspiration to me. When I was feeling low, you were always there with ice cream or brownies or some other goodie to make everything better. I love and miss you so much more than you could ever imagine. I hope that I can be half the mother and grandmother you were. I'm glad that Lily has you now, and the two of you are together. You can be the amazing great-grandmother to her as you were grandmother to me. I know you had a great Christmas reunion with Granddaddy and helped Lily have a merry first Christmas. Tell Granddaddy and Lily how much I love and miss them, and give them both a hug and kiss for me. I know that I will be with you, all three of you again, and as Grammy would say, that do make it nice. chorus of a song by Toby Keith called Crying for Me really sums it up for me. It goes like this. I'm gonna miss that smile, I'm gonna miss you, my friend. Even though it hurts the way it ended up, I'd do it all again. So play it sweet in heaven, because that's where you want to be. I'm not crying because I feel sorry for you.